All right, all right. Welcome to a new episode of the D-Falls Podcast. We are broadcasting live from Gorilla Cross Studios. Got my man Quan on the board. Today we have a special guest, very special guest. Man, I don't know. I first came across this cat. My wife said, Pastor Kelsey West, he was preaching for pastor, and he started referencing all these hip-hop quotes and all this hip-hop stuff, 50 years of hip-hop, this and that. I said, man, I heard of that cat. He sounds like my kind of cat, man. And so none other than Pastor Kelsey West, man, we welcome you to the show, brother. How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing wonderful. It's an honor to be in your presence. Thank you for having me on the show today. I'm looking forward to us just really chopping it up. And just really having a great conversation.
Man, absolutely, man. I appreciate you taking the time, and I know you're busy. You got the conference going on a little bit. You want to speak a little bit about what you got going on?
Yeah, exactly. Right now at Community College, the Cheyenne campus, I'm a board member for Solutions for Change.
Okay.
And so the annual Healing to Health conference is taking place right now inside the Tyrone Thompson Center.
Okay.
And so for those who are watching us, amen, after they finish listening to us, amen, if they want to make their way over there, we would appreciate it.
Okay, and it's the second day of it, right?
Yeah, this is the second day. Last night we had an amazing worship experience, night of worship and prayer. Pastor Anton Dotson was the featured
Shout out to
speaker.
Anton.
Shouts out.
Okay.
But we just had an amazing time. So shouts out to Denisha Mingo, who's also a member of our church, but she's the leader for that amazing organization.
Okay. Solutions to Change. That's mental health.
Mental health.
Okay.
And so I'm a huge advocator. I'm a huge supporter of mental health.
That's huge.
I've had my own challenges, and so I went through periods where people were just bumping my turntables too much.
I know the feeling, bro.
It feels good to be able to be behind the ones and twos, and I can just let the record play like it's supposed to play.
Absolutely. Let me give you a little backstory too. Pastor Kelsey West is a husband, father, grandfather, senior pastor of Nehemiah Ministries, founder of the 28th annual HBCU tour, and a board member for a host of community organizations. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. I wish I really had time to get in all. He was very modest with his bio, but that's just a little tip of him. And he's officially or unofficially the seventh member of New Edition, as he likes to say. So I can hear him on some of them remixes. So if you don't know, he's grassroots in the community. Social activist, philanthropist, and anything he can put his hands on, he's really in the community. And if About That Life was a person, you look it up, I think it would be him if you see him. So just a little brief introduction. For those of you who don't know, that's who I got sitting in front of me. And it's absolutely a privilege, man, that he take the time that we sit down and chop it up. And I like to think we kind of from the same era.
You better believe it.
You know what I mean? You see, he's a Lakers fan. So, you know, we already rocking good. And it's so funny because I was going to wear my Lakers stuff. And I said, well, let me just see. But he rocked his, so he was in the same mind. I know Quan is a Laker man too, so we got three of us starting five right here, all Lakers right here.
That's right.
You know, absolutely. So we're gonna get into it, man. We can definitely gonna get into it. So first and foremost, man, what brought you to Vegas? You from Pontiac, Michigan, right?
Pontiac, Michigan all day.
Okay.
And so I came to Michigan. This is how I got here. I was headed to the United States Air Force. And I didn't really, my best friend, Kevin Winton, he was already accepted to Winston-Salem State. So during the second half of our senior year, he said, Kels, you should try college. And so I was dead set on going to the Air Force, did not want to put a financial burden on my family. And so I had cousins who lived out here, Butch and Ronald Scott. And the younger of the two, Ronald, had just purchased a home. And he said, why don't you come out here, stay with me, try UNLV. If you don't like UNLV, Nellis Air Force Base is here. And so August 18th, 1989, I moved to Las Vegas, and the rest is history.
89?
August 18th, 1989. When I moved here, the latest and greatest was the volcano at the Mirage.
Golly, you dated it right there. 89. Did you graduate in 89?
I graduated 89 from
Class 89.
Pontiac Central High School. Shouts out to my classmates. I'll be back in Michigan the end of this month for our 35th class reunion.
Wow, 35.
Yeah, 35 years.
Man. And what was that initial transition like, man? Was it a culture shock coming from Pontiac, Michigan, or what like?
I'm gonna share this with you. Vegas was a dream come true. I'm a dancer.
Okay.
And so my real freshman orientation didn't take place on the campus of UNLV.
Okay.
My freshman orientation took place at a club called Uptown.
I'm Uptown.
There
okay.
you go.
I know.
So,
okay.
My first night at Club Uptown, I took second place in the dance contest behind Curtis and Leroy. And so the second week I couldn't even focus in class. I was trying to figure out
how
I was so focused on what my mixes, what I was gonna dance to.
Okay.
So the second night the second week I went back to Uptown, had the DJ, hey man, I need to remix, hey man, to Guys My Fantasy. And I took first that night.
Okay.
And then from there, I just really fell in love with Las Vegas.
Really?
I really did.
The dancing, we talking about the pop locking. And
I was a club dancer. I'm the guy on the stage in the middle of the floor.
Okay.
That's me.
So you was probably a big fan of breaking with Turbo and Ozone and all them.
Now watch this. I was more, my dancing influence was more New Edition.
Okay.
Than
the
actual
choreographed
I'm smooth
moves
choreographer.
Okay,
I'm a group dancer more so than a breaker.
Okay.
But I could hold my own with a pop locker.
Okay. So you was the smooth cat.
Yeah.
Okay. You was the smooth cat. Ain't that something? 89, man. 89. And so, like I said, I think we from the same era, man. You grew up in the golden era of hip hop, man. What was it? What did that mean? What does that mean to you, man?
Oh man, listen. Growing up in Michigan, shouts out to Joe Louis Arena, who did not see in concert, and so I remember the summer of '88.
Yeah, coldest summer, coldest summer ever.
We had so many albums drop. I'm a fan of when the Clear CD hit.
Yeah,
and we had the Clear CD of Run DMC's Raising Hell.
I remember that. Yeah, I'm talking about my Adidas. It's tricky out there. Okay,
Peter Piper.
Okay.
I miss the golden era of hip hop when we celebrated people being unique.
Yes.
You know, you look forward to the album cover. You look forward to
the credits, reading the credits.
Come on, man. You look forward to the new beats. I miss that.
Yeah, I do too. The digital age, it ain't the same.
No.
You can't, pull that plastic off.
No.
And I came from the tape era.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Where you had to pop the tape in, turn it over. You know what I mean? So
that's right.
Definitely something gone with that, man. Definitely. I see a lot of times you reference one of your posts say 20D batteries.
Yeah.
And when I see that, I want to ask you about that. But when I see that, I think about me carrying, like me and my partners would be on. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, so we would put our batteries in our box, load up, playing Beastie Boys, walking through the hood. You know what I mean?
That's
so when
all
I see that
is.
20D batteries, I said I know exactly where he coming from.
20D batteries. That post. That's my shouts out to Spike Lee and Do the Right Thing.
Okay.
And so when I post something with 20D batteries, I'm saying it loud.
Okay.
I want the community to stop and pay attention to what I'm saying. One of the things I think that's missing is that local. We need more local DJs, more voices like that. That's gonna really talk about. Shouts out to Lady AK. She's one of them types of voices where when you listening to the radio, I need to hear "Wake Up."
Right. Okay.
And I'm not just talking about from a phrase or a term. Drop some knowledge that's gonna make. There you go. There you go.
And I miss that conscious era of hip hop too.
Oh man.
I'm talking about
Poor
Public Enemy.
Come on, man.
Listen.
Shouts out to KRS-One.
KRS-One.
Although I was raised in some amazing schools, I had amazing African American principals and teachers. KRS-One was the one that made me say, "Wait a minute, let me look at my history a little bit different."
And he was way back then. Why is that?
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? X-Clan.
Oh,
that's
man. That's right.
Man,
to the red, to the black.
To the red, to the black. You know what I mean? So phenomenal era, man. I'm trying to think of some other cats in that era. Paris. I can't. It's so many
Poor
that was in that
teachers,
Poor Righteous Teachers.
Leaders of the New School.
Leaders of the New School.
That the conscious rap. That's when I'm here. And so that was. I shouts out to Common.
Common, yep. Common been about it. Common been about it. Yeah,
that's
Common
right.
been about it.
But shouts out to those who really made us think and they brought us together. I could see why the powers that be had to make sure.
You think that was intentional?
Oh, come on. Stop playing. Stop playing.
We were educating them too much. We need to dumb them down.
Too much knowledge. So we need to make things a little violent.
Yeah. And that was when that whole era ushered in, that other era.
That's right.
Yeah. Crazy, man. we know, you're a senior pastor, man. But how did your ministry career begin, and when did you receive your? Well, let's start first with how did your ministry career begin?
Well, we can connect the dots.
Okay.
One Sunday, I was always involved in church. Grandfather was a deacon. My grandmother was.
So you was
like
a church family, like
yeah. My grandmother was a nurse with those older ladies who cooked for the church.
Okay.
My mom was a choir director. My father was a greeter usher.
Okay.
I'm 12 getting ready for church. And I mean, and we're talking just like I hear Slick Rick for the first time through the speakers. I hear the Lord tell me, you're going to preach.
Really? Now, how you think?
I'm 12. I'm 12. I remember that morning. I went and told my mom she was getting ready for church. I said, I hear I'm going to preach. I'm raised in a church going home.
Okay.
But people didn't know what to do with that.
Okay.
So I have this call to preach, and I just have it. So fast forward, I'm on an HBCU tour. We're in Montgomery, Alabama, headed. So we're just leaving Alabama State, headed to FAMU.
Okay.
We're in Montgomery. We're in the South. Sky turned black.
Okay. Pitch black.
We know weather is not good. I hear that same voice I heard at 12 say, put the kids on the bus, drive straight.
Wow.
We get to Tallahassee, Florida. Soon as we check into the hotel, news report says a tornado touched down in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm like, God, you have my attention. That same voice says, you already know what I want you to do. I come off that tour, rush back to church. The preacher couldn't open the doors fast enough. I go before and say yes to preaching.
Just like that.
Just like that. It scared me. It caught my attention.
You think that was a sign that you
all day? All day. The Lord had my attention. You cannot run from me. And so I'm sparing you. I'm gracing you. Now do what I want you to do. And so from that moment to now, I've never played with ministry. I really had a real come to Jesus moment. Let's get born again. Let's take this serious. So I went from when I actually joined church a few moments before that moment, I'm coming to church, Coogee down to the socks.
Coogee down, yeah. That was just your style.
I'm coming to church straight out the club, still got the stamp on the wrist. And so
ink, you still see the ink, huh?
Oh, I'm fresh out the club.
Okay.
And so I had a real experience. And so that's what started ministry. And then you fast forward from there, 8 years after that trip, I'm on another black college tour. This time we're in Atlanta, Georgia. In Montgomery, I was in front of Dexter Avenue Baptist Church where Dr. King pastored. This 8 years later, I'm in front of Ebenezer Baptist Church. The Lord knocked me to my knees and tell me you're gonna plant a church called Nehemiah.
Wow. So that wasn't a coincidence. That was confirmation being in front of those two churches at those pivotal moments.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nehemiah. Now that's an interesting name. Where did that just drop in your spirit, or where did the name
come
from?
I had only preached from the book of Nehemiah once when I had started preaching, and I was under the leadership of the late Reverend Nathaniel Whitney at Great Evergreen Missionary Baptist Church.
Okay, out here in Vegas. Right?
Out here in Vegas. And so I spent 8 years under his tutelage. I preached one time from the book of Nehemiah, and the title of that sermon was "Nobody Knows the Trouble I See." When the Lord says plant a church called Nehemiah, I knew the story, but I hadn't studied the book. And so this wasn't like one of my ideas. This was not me coming up with a fresh rhyme over a dope beat. The Lord said, this is what you're about to do. And so I had no idea how churches get started. It has been a leap of faith, a walk of faith, a standing on faith. It is what it is.
Had no idea at all. Now, before that, you said you was in the church. So where did you receive your pastoral training? Or because it's one thing to be in church, but it's another thing to plant a church, be a senior pastor. So where did that training and stuff come from?
Watch this. So from a hip hop perspective, I was like Puffy at Uptown
under Andre Harrell.
How he was under Harrell, that's how I was under Pastor Whitney. Wherever I could serve, I went to church to serve. I didn't know how to go to church, just go to church.
Right.
I went to church. Whatever you want me to do, I just want to do it. That's why even when you see me wearing my Lakers gear, Magic Johnson gonna always be my favorite player.
Me too.
So when it comes to church, if I have to play 5 positions, man, it is.
If you got to play center, small forward,
I just want to play.
Yeah. But just absorbing the game
I love,
and learning and stuff. Okay.
I love ministry like Magic love hooping. Okay. And so it don't matter what position, I just want to play. So I learned ministry. I learned pastoral care from Pastor Whitney. So there are times when I'll do something and I'll remember him. Or I'll respond to something and people will go, well, you should do it X, Y, and Z. And then I have to remember that wasn't how I was trained. He coached me like Phil Jackson.
Way.
He called timeouts when it was needed.
Yeah.
For the most part, I'm going to let you play through this to learn the lesson.
I got to let you play through it to see the lesson.
That's how he taught me.
Then you said he went on to be with God. He passed away. Do you feel that when he passed away, did you have enough time with him to gain everything you needed, or was it too early or too soon? What do you feel?
I'm gonna say this. I wish I had more with him. I wish he had been able to see more of the fruits of his labor. But I will say this. I always tell people, if you spend the right amount of time with people, you will never have to fight over 2 minutes at a funeral. So because I spent so much time with him, when the Lord called him home, I was good.
You was good. You felt you was ready. Okay,
well, we spent time together. I traveled with my pastor. I sat at his feet, and so I listened to the same stories every week. Yeah,
and that's what I always like to say too, man. Like in this game of life, it's like a clock you can't see. You know. We only know how much time has passed. What we don't know is how much is left.
That's right.
You know what I mean? We can't see that shot clock going down. So
that's right.
That's very interesting, man. So you planning, and so when was it that you started Nehemiah?
2005.
2005.
That was our actual first service, and so we're turning 18 third Sunday of next month.
Okay.
But we started in our home with a Bible study, and then the Bible study turned into an actual service. Okay. So the first year was in our home. Okay. And then that group of people, including Pastor Whitney's daughter, Lisa Whitney, shouts out to her. They were like, let's have service.
Really? And so from your home, did you jump straight to a building then? Is it? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was growing and stuff like
growing.
that.
If I would say if I could do it over again, I may have went the school route, things like that. Because I think because of rent that we've shared, I've probably built a couple of churches. However, I will say this. When you are following God's blueprint, His plans, you just have to say okay.
You just got to say okay, and He'll figure it out along the way.
Yeah, when it's time for us to build a stadium in the house, I believe He's going to really make that happen.
Yeah. A stadium. Yeah, I'm sure He'll take care. Hey, what they say, if it's God's will, it's God's bill. He'll figure it out. He'll figure it out. Yeah, absolutely, man. I definitely gotta check you out, man. And so you mentioned too that you studied at UNLV?
Yeah, and so watch this. This is how real it is. I was so into hip hop and dancing, and so remember 89 to 91, you got BBD they dropping poison. So I'm mental. I'm mental.
Mental, what they say. Yeah, it's all mental.
I'm mental. So I'm doing my thing on the campus for UNLV to the point where they expel me.
They expelled you?
They expelled me.
You was going too hard.
I was going too hard in the paint. So UNLV expels me. Shouts out to CSN for rescuing me. But this is my story. I was spiritually born again at New Bethel Baptist Church in Pontiac, Michigan. Okay. I was academically saved on the campus of Hampton University. When I flunked out of UNLV, I went to visit friends. I did my own tour. So I flew into Baltimore. Then I traveled from Baltimore to Virginia to end up at Winston-Salem. Okay. When I stopped at Hampton to visit a friend, I saw men and women on campus dressed in professional wear. That image changed my life.
Did it, man? Like you talking suits?
I'm talking brothers. They had the suits, they had the umbrellas, they had the briefcases. And that moment, I said, I want to be like that. And so I came back to Las Vegas, humbled myself, worked my way through community college, appealed to the board. UNLV said, we'll let you back in. And then I was able to graduate.
Really?
Yeah.
What was your study? What was you studying?
When I got here, I was a business major. But watch this. God blessed me with an internship One day, Wendell P. Williams and Larry Weekly called me and said, "Do you want an internship?"
Okay.
I didn't even know what an internship was. It just sounds smooth. And so I interned with R&R Advertising.
Okay.
Shouts out to them for taking me in. I interned with them and fell in love with public relations.
Okay.
So
Okay.
most people think my degree is in marketing because I promote so much.
Right.
The promotion side of me just come from loving hip hop and concert posters.
And like taking that, and here's what I always say, like you take something from one industry and apply it to another.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay,
my real training, my real passion is public relations.
Okay.
And so that's my first major. And then from there, I've been able to go back to school and get my master's and my doctorate.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
let me put some respect on your name. Dr.
Yes, sir.
Kelsey West.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So my doctor of religion, that focus is on blended families.
Okay. Is that what that is?
That's
Okay,
what my doctorate is in. That's my
Okay.
focus is on blended families. And then the master of religion, I was able to do all of that through Faith International University there in Tacoma, Washington.
Okay.
And
So
then-
online or something?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
that's
okay.
online. And so they blessed us. Watch this. We were able to do an agreement with them and start within our church, the Nathaniel Whitney School of Ministry.
I've seen that. Is that what
we're
that
in-
is?
So we're
Okay.
in partnership with them. So
Okay.
right now, watch this. It's not a death row or a bad boy situation.
okay.
But I feel good being able to say we have 15 students, artists
What?
on paper right now.
Is that right?
That's right.
And so that's a school of ministry where you bringing up people teaching them
That's right.
other ministry and stuff
That's
like
right.
that?
So ministers, teachers, but they're able to do a dual program. So they're going to get a certificate from the School of Ministry, and then they can continue their education through faith.
Oh man, that's phenomenal, man. And that all started from your education.
Yes, sir.
You and everything. Yeah. Are you still going to school now, Carolyn?
I'm finished right now.
Really?
And
Yeah.
so as of right now, I'm technically not in school, but let me say it this way. For the rest of my life, I'll be a student.
Right. And they say, long as you're green, you're growing.
Oh, man.
And schooling, it really never stops,
It
man.
never stops, man. And so I'm leery of people. I'm leery of people who retire from learning.
Okay, you really can't. Yeah, you really can't. Yeah. Man, that's a lot, man. That's a lot, bro. You connected, man. You connected, man. You helping a lot of people. How did the HBCU tour start, man? And you say this is the 28th annual?
Yeah, this
so
is
28 years?
Actually 28 tours in 30 years.
God,
and so 30 years ago, I'm just again visiting my friend Kevin at Winston-Salem, having a great time. I'm at Winston-Salem, watch this, when Arrested Development is dropping and Mary J. Blige is dropping the 411.
Her first album.
That's when I'm on the campus of Winston-Salem.
I already know where you at.
Then we're talking, and it's like, Wes, we need to expose kids to HBCUs. Come back to Las Vegas. Let me just see what happens. Put a tour together. I had no idea 47 parents would trust me after I brought my mom in. But they trusted me to take 47 kids to Louisiana and Mississippi. And so
and this is just the first one.
First one.
Okay.
So 30 years ago, we took 47 kids.
How did you get the word? How did you sell that to the parents and let them know what you was trying to do? Just say, look, I'm trying to do this, and
face-to-face meetings.
Face-to-face.
And so
okay.
what I've always learned in life is you have to be truthful, transparent. What you say you're going to do, just do it. And so brought those parents in, had our meetings. They said yes. Fast forward, those 47 students have helped us now help over 3,200.
God, it multiplied, man.
Yeah.
From the first 47.
Yeah, so now we're averaging, our trips are now 150 deep.
Get out of here, man. And how long is it? What's the duration of the tour?
We leave on Saturday morning, come back the following Friday night or Saturday. And so we fly to a city, fly to a region, charter buses, take over hotels, 60+ rooms. And so we're touring schools by day, having workshops at night, late night sessions. And so we're
grinding, man.
Well, it's nonstop. It's nonstop. So shouts out to all of my team, starting with my wife. My boo got the baddest girl in the game wearing my chain.
Shout out to, is it Carmen?
Carmen West.
Shout out to Carmen West.
That's my wife, man. She's been down with me. I'm 53, so we have been together now 31 years.
That's me and my wife too, right? Man, shout out to that, man.
31 years, man.
Yeah, and speaking of your wife, man, I think I was going to ask you about this. How do y'all balance, man, ministry and marriage? I was just on a panel speaking about that, but how would you say y'all balance that, man?
This is what we do, man. We still we are friends. That's my best
first
friend.
and foremost.
First, the foundation of our marriage, we're friends, and so we don't have to circle a day for date night, man. We just date.
Okay.
And so sometimes I'll be preaching, and I'll give her that look, like, don't take the pastor out after church. Take Kelsey out.
Take care, right? The person,
man.
the
so
person.
we like to cruise. We like to do our staycations here in Vegas. And then again, man, we'll go catch a concert in a minute. Oh my goodness, So no, we balance ministry and marriage by making sure marriage gets more of us, if possible, than ministry.
Ministry, and you, like you said, I always talk to my wife about this, man, Pastor Sharonda, that you gotta have an integrated life. So it's not like I'm here over here. We just gonna make this thing work together. We're gonna weave it in and make it work together.
And she will tell people she's not coming home to a different me.
It's the same you.
Same me. Okay. I'm listening to New Edition at home. I'm talking about New Edition at church.
Right. Okay. You rolling it into your sermons.
That's it.
Hey, you can't go wrong with that good old R&B though. You know what I mean? You definitely can't go wrong, man. For real. That's good though, man, that y'all can do that. Have you ever been bivocational in your whole journey?
Yeah. And I'm still bivocational. With people, the misconception is that I just pastor.
Okay.
And so no, I probably right now 4 to 5 jobs.
Okay.
And so I'm always having my hands in something.
Okay.
So that way I can take care of the bigger pictures.
The bigger picture, right? Yeah, to feed that. And I was going to ask you that too. That was my next question. What would you say is what is one of the biggest or some of the biggest misconceptions of being a pastor?
The biggest misconceptions, number one, we don't make mistakes. Number two, we're always thinking Bible study church. Number three, we don't know how to have fun.
Okay.
Number four, we don't need genuine friendships. And number five, we don't hurt.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, people think my 5'7" frame, I wear a Superman or a Batman suit. That's not the case. Bullets don't bounce off me.
Right.
I
hurt like everybody else.
I wish I could bend steel with my hand. That's just not the truth.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, and then I'll also say this, and I'll say this respectfully. Sometimes people treat pastors as if because you start pastoring, you forget where you're from. And sometimes I have to remind people the same way you just wouldn't want to mishandle a father with how you talking about his children in the hood. Remember, those are my children.
Those are my children. Okay.
Remember, that's my wife. I understand that's your first lady.
Yeah, but that's my wife first.
Player.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
And people forget that.
That's a lot, man. And they think I heard another pastor say they forget that you're human.
Yeah.
You know, beneath the anointing, beneath the talent, you know, and all that, you still, it's a human aspect to it.
You're human, and I think people forget as a pastor, it's a hurting thing when somebody takes a shot at your spouse or children, and you know they're looking at you like you're not gonna do nothing about this. So I'm trying to grace the individual through this, but I still have a family going, you just gonna let this go down? And sometimes people really forget that.
Trying to push your buttons almost. That's just wild, man. And I know you being in the pastor community, it's a lot of other pastors that you know and were pretty well known in the circuit, man, and that everybody's going through. Everybody got their own cross to bear.
That's right.
And they carrying it the best they can.
The best they can. And so everybody needs grace, love. Everybody needs to be poured into. Everybody needs mentors. Everybody. You need a team of people who will help you remain humble and who will help you remain on point. That's why I miss when you say like our golden era of hip hop. I miss our golden era of neighborhoods. When older people would tell you, you know, take that down the street. Turn your music off. We don't do that. We don't do that over here. We still need that in the pulpit.
You think like the Midwest and out West, it's a cultural thing? It's a different, or it's just era thing? Do you think
both? It's a
both?
combination of both.
Okay.
You have your cultures. Now we have a lot of blending of cultures, but we also have eras. This era is totally different. From our era.
Yeah, almost anything goes. Like you say, I remember, like your neighbor across the street, like my partner's mother could check you and even whoop you or correct you, but it would keep the whole neighborhood in balance. Man.
And then also this generation, I feel, and I'm saying this respectfully because I know every generation loves its generation. But let me just speak about our generation. I feel for this generation because it doesn't have the balanced soundtrack that we had. So for NWA, NWA could and Ice-T could talk about they were talking about, but we had that R&B to balance it.
Balance it out, right. And if it's too one-sided.
If it's too one-sided. I can't imagine growing up in my neighborhood without R&B to calm us down.
Yeah, because R&B, that was the smooth, the calm, You talking about your, like you said, your Guy, your Keith Sweats, your Anita Bakers.
And that summer '88, you got Keith Sweat, Make It Last Forever. You got Al B. Sure, Effect Mode. You got New Edition with the Heartbreak, Bobby Brown, Don't Be Cruel. That was a powerful
That was a powerful. I don't think we'll never see another one like that, man. All them records came out.
Dropped at the same time.
Yeah, you're right. And then it was something that slipped through the cracks.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
So that's big, man. That's big. Tell us a little bit about your church, man. Nehemiah Ministries, where you're located at, when your service times is. I know you said you're not preaching tomorrow, but you usually preach every Sunday. Give us a little bit about it, man.
Nehemiah Ministries, 18 years old, come next month, located 3606 North Rancho, Suite 144, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89130, Rancho and Gowan. We are a community serving church. We are a Bible teaching church for those who are looking for a place where they can grow in the word. Check us out. For those who are looking to be active in ministry, come check us out. I'm not a good babysitter.
Right.
I'm not a good excuse type pastor. I don't know that. I know
you got to get in there and pretty feed yourself. You can't be spoon fed. To a certain extent.
I'm gonna share this. It's not even just feed yourself. It's just understanding. My children only ate baby food for so long. I didn't even talk baby talk to them. I don't know how to say wawa. It's water. And if you hungry, you better learn quickly how to tell me you hungry because I don't read minds. So that same approach comes to church. I get it. You're new. You're crawling today. But how long we gonna do this?
You can't be a grown up crawling still at some point.
No, we trying to win championships. I need you on the court.
Right. I feel you. Quan, if we can cut to that clip, got a clip I want to play. Trying to win championships. I feel you.
Despite, watch this, they were able to go on those field trips, beloved, despite being counted, considered, and classified as ordinary people.
Let me take
Seeing
it back.
that Jesus had handpicked
Is it showing on
12 disciples.
No.
The question that you might be asking or should be asking on this Sunday morning is, what was so special?
We'll get it up in a minute, but we definitely got a clip to cut through. Yeah, I feel you, man. And spirituality and growing in God, it's kind of a self-responsible thing. So you got to be responsible for your own maturity.
I'll share this with you. In a perfect world, if I write a book, I may write a book focusing on this. I wish every person, especially men, had played Pop Warner football, because in church it's tough to pastor somebody. It's tough to pastor men who never had a coach really coach them. See,
Pop Warner, need that experience to kind
And so Pop Warner football taught you don't be overly sensitive. Keep your helmet on. Stay next to me if you want to get in the game. Pop Warner football, you learned I may have to hit my friend. And it's not personal.
It's not personal.
Part of the game. And after I tackle you real hard, we still gonna be friends.
We're still gonna be friends. And
so
come with the game. Come with the game.
with the
Okay.
game.
That's a good analogy. Okay, we're gonna cut to that clip now.
All right.
Watch this. They were able to go on those field trips, beloved, despite being counted, considered, and classified as ordinary people. Seeing that Jesus had handpicked 12 disciples, the question that you might be asking or should be asking on this Sunday morning is, what was so special about these ordinary people named Peter and John? Is it possible, beloved, that Jesus was preparing these ordinary people for extraordinary purposes? Can I speak life into somebody? Is it possible Jesus picked these young men who may not have been their daddy's favorite, who may not have been the popular choice? Is it possible Jesus just handpicked these ordinary people because he wanted to fulfill extraordinary purpose? I wish you would tell your neighbor, that spoke to me. I wish you would tell somebody, because see, some of y'all don't believe you got purpose on your life. That's why the church just went quiet. That's why I feel like I'm in a wake right now, because some of you don't believe you got purpose. But if 5 of you believe, amen, he woke you up this morning, not for you to have a brunch, not for you to just come and shout, not for you to just, am I talking to somebody? Does there anybody believe he woke you up so you can discover, get closer to, tap into your purpose?
And that was some ordinary people. It was your lady. It was is that a series? That was just
That's
your
our
latest
latest
sermon?
series. We're going to run that series until our church anniversary.
Okay.
And so that's our focus this summer, is to help people get away from the social media fame. And believing you got to have so many likes and shares before you can do God's will.
Yeah. And it is possible to say like that. Ordinary people, everyday people still have a purpose and a call on their life to do something extraordinary. Prime example, like you said, how God used Peter and John, right? You feel that so?
Just regular people. And I think a lot of times when people come to church, people are made to feel, if I don't have this pedigree, if I didn't come from this stock, if I didn't live here, if I don't make this amount, I can't be used. Or if I don't drive this, live here, I'm not blessed. And I don't find that in the Bible.
Right. Nowhere in the Bible.
I find from Genesis to Revelation, God used regular cats like us.
Yeah. The most least likely.
That's
even.
it. That's it.
Yeah. Amen. What do you think the key is to people closing the gap on that space?
What I think is the key.
Yeah.
People being truthful in their testimonies, and I wish people would really be honest about the fact you just ordinary.
You know, right. At the end of the day.
Listen, I've been at situations where people were going to give me an award, and I give them my bio, and they were like, "Why did you put in here you were expelled?" Because that's my truth.
That's my truth. Yeah.
I'm an ordinary guy who allowed hip hop to get in the way of my education. Why am I going to lie? I'm not ashamed of that.
Yeah.
I'm an ordinary cat.
Yeah.
Moved to Las Vegas. Did I have a problem with gambling? You better believe it. Did I have a problem with drinking? You better believe it. I'm from Michigan. I was a booster before I got here.
Yeah, just being honest.
I'm an ordinary cat raised around the hood. I had hood activity all around me.
All day.
So for me to get up and say I never had those issues, I would be lying.
Yeah, hypocritical.
I'm an ordinary cat. Every day is one day at a time.
Literally.
Listen, man, when our bills get beside themselves, it's still a flesh within me that's like, you still know how to throw dice.
Yeah.
You still know how to bet on games.
That animal temptation is still like you got to control it. Yeah,
I'm an ordinary person.
Yeah. I think that speaks to a lot. I hear you on that part about hip hop getting in the way of your education, because R.I.P. to my father, man. He was a tradesman, electrician by trade, and he was trying to point me in that direction, but he would put me in the class, and I was 18, I may be 17, and I was in there with 30-year-old, 35-year-old, and all I wanted to do was write rhymes.
Yeah.
And I'm in there, and I couldn't focus, and I'm like, it was crazy, but that was just that era.
I just wanted to dance. And so I remember the first time I saw Heavy D in concert, I watched his backup dancers.
Yeah, they was cold.
And I was like, man,
Trouble T-Roy and all them cats.
I was like, man, I want to do that.
Yeah,
and then my crew that I grew up with in Michigan, Pontiac, Michigan, shouts out to Spud, Dante, Little Waves, Kev. We were dancers.
Yeah, and you had to have a tight crew.
Oh, brother.
Synchronized moves.
Listen, we were tight.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand. So you see my post. This is what people don't understand. When I'm posting pictures of New Edition, it's not just about New Edition. That's me telling my friends, I miss them.
Yeah.
Because
I miss that childhood.
Watch this. What I yearn for in ministry today is being able to move with pastors where we're in unison like that.
Like that. Yeah, that's huge. That's huge, man. That's huge, man. And so, man, hey, you have a great story, man, phenomenal. But that takes us to a new segment I want to cut into, man, and it's called the Top 5, where we talk about movies, rappers, athletes, and teams. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to give you a choice. You pick your choice and tell me why. Okay, so first off, we starting. Boys in the Hood or Paid in Full, the movie?
Paid in Full.
Okay, why?
Paid in Full saved my life.
Yeah, I remember you said one time you was going to tell your wife to watch it with you.
When I went through my deepest hurt in ministry, that's when I was ace. And so I've been robbed and shot up close in ministry,
and they did him so cold.
I'm gonna say it again. I was ace. I've been robbed and shot up close. And the movie Paid in Full, I watched it 100 times.
I know. You pull something different out of it every time.
So finally, I had my wife, I need you to sit next to me. We did two things during that season. And church people may not understand this. I had my wife watch Paid in Full with me. Then we went to the park, and I had her listen to No Vaseline.
I remember you told me that. That's great.
Once she got both of those, she said, now I understand the level of your hurt.
Okay, I get it. Yeah, especially with the Ice Cube and it all. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a fair one because they almost the same, but or maybe I said Kobe or Jordan.
Jordan
is the GOAT.
Jordan the blueprint.
Yeah.
And so for somebody I love Kobe, but Jordan is the blueprint.
Yeah,
and what he had to do during that time in the NBA, shouts out. 30. Yeah. You averaging 37
a game all season,
and we putting hands on you.
Yeah,
and
that means some games he had 40, some games he had 50. The average 37. Yeah. That's insane. That's insane. Yeah. That's insane. Okay, Rakim or Jay-Z?
Rakim.
Okay.
And there's a part of me that I respect Jay-Z.
Yeah, I respect him.
This is what I love about Rakim. Rakim didn't give us as much material, but the material he gave us, it's on the Mount Rushmore.
It's on the right. Just that little brief.
That's
like, I mean, you can start with the Paid in Full album. That was
that right there.
It was nutrient dense, as they say.
It.
Just that
That's
little.
it.
Yeah. I feel you on that.
Mine
Mine all day too. Okay, next, the golden era of hip hop or 90s hip hop?
Golden era
all day.
All for this reason. In our era, more groups could really tour together.
Yeah.
And those tours were legendary. Golden era, those tours kicked doors open.
Yeah, they did. They did. I remember I was seeing when I was back home, it was a concert. I think it was Public Enemy, Run DMC, Steady B, LL. It was just like an all-star line. It was a regular concert.
So watch this. Joe Louis Arena, me and my boys, I think this got to be 88. So EPMD opens.
Okay. Yeah.
They hand the mic off to Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Okay.
Who then they hand the mic off to Public Enemy. Run DMC closes.
Crazy. And it was probably $20 or something. The concert maybe even that. You know what I'm saying?
If that much.
You don't see that no more. You don't even see that no more, man. Crazy era, man. Okay. 89 Pistons or 87 Lakers?
As much as I love the Lakers, watch this. The Pistons at that time, I'm gonna give the nod to them because they almost had 2 starting fives.
They did. They bench was deep, wasn't it?
Growing up in Michigan, I'm a bike ride from the Silverdome.
Okay.
So the 80 that Piston team, watch this. If you go back and remember the history, If Isaiah doesn't toss the ball to Bird,
right,
that was a championship team.
When he stole the ball, when the ball got stolen, right.
Even
right,
before,
okay, right.
So they could have won it that year.
Okay.
If
okay.
Isaiah doesn't twist his ankle in the finals against the Lakers,
yes,
they would have beat the Lakers.
Yeah, they would have, yeah.
That was really a 4-peat team.
4-peat.
If the truth be told. And
that's when they had Rodman, John Sally, Mark Aguirre. They was deep, man, wasn't they?
And Isaiah is my favorite all-time little man.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's crazy. Okay, now what about, I don't even know how we can pair this, and I got one more for you. And I guess this is probably a landslide. I mean, mid-'80s, late '90s R&B, and 2000s R&B.
Oh, anything 80s R&B.
Anything. Kills in her.
Oh,
Kills.
Man, still, people. I think the greatest thing missing from our culture today is R&B.
R&B.
We need, watch this.
It's gone.
Listen.
Yeah.
We're telling people to love each other, and they don't have a soundtrack.
Yeah.
We learned how to love not from daddy sitting us down or mama sitting us down. We learned from listening to the albums.
It was them records.
And then our love letters, man. How do these cats know how to write love letters?
Yeah,
we would open up the albums and just write what Stevie wrote.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, man, Pastor Kelsey West, man, I appreciate you, man. I feel like you a cat I ain't never met, but we could chop it up on so many different levels, man. And I like how you put it on your post, saying, man, we're going to be on the porch of the D-Falls podcast. And that's what this felt like. Just sitting on the porch, chopping it up, a glass of Kool-Aid right here.
Right.
So,
That's right.
So I absolutely appreciate it. Anything else you want to leave the people with, man? Anything you got going on we need to know about it? Just any final thoughts, man, that you got, man?
Listen, the main thing I want to share today is I want to thank Las Vegas for letting a cat like me be myself. Thank you for making this annual HBCU tour a success. We're registering students right now. Look us up, 32nd Street Theater. Also, help us celebrate 18 years of ministry. Join us third Sunday in August at Nehemiah Ministries. Would love to have your support. Lastly, take every moment you can to enjoy the moment.
Yeah, that's true. Now, when is the HBCU tours happening?
It's actually, watch this, our next tour is March 15th through the 21st.
Okay.
And we're going to take 168 people to visit Georgia, Alabama, and Florida.
Okay.
And
now, how can they get more information about that?
They can get more information. Go to our website, www.32ndstreet.us, 32ndst.us, or you can call me 702-860-6638. Okay. And so feel free to reach out so that way we can help your student 9th through 12th grade be exposed to what a different world still looks like on the campuses of HBCUs.
Okay, and I'm going to post that
32nd
Street. I seen 32nd Street. What is that, man?
Watch this. Okay. Before I started pastoring, I used to write plays.
Okay, that's what
And the name of our theater company was 32nd Street Theater. And that was back before Tyler Perry. That's back when I was chasing David E. Talbert. He was the black playwright at that time. That
I remember
was
David E. Talbert.
me.
I remember, okay.
But 32nd Street Theater, watch this. You got to put this together. Magic is my favorite basketball player. That's number 32.
32.
Street comes from when I was a little boy, I was watching a documentary with my grandmother on Sugar Ray Robinson.
Okay.
And the documentary talked about how he owned almost a street in Harlem. And I told my grandmother when I was little, one day I'm going to own my own street.
Okay.
So you put all that together.
You put all that, in the 32nd Street.
There you go.
Yeah, that's dope. That's a dope Lakers warm-up, too. I got to give it to you, man. Hey, that's dope, man.
Thank
Phenomenal,
you so
man.
much.
Okay, man. Pastor Kelsey West, Dr. Pastor Kelsey West, we signing off. Nehemiah Ministries, Gorilla Cross Studios, D-Falls Podcast. I appreciate you, my brother. Thanks for your time. I know you're busy. Got to get back to your thing. Absolutely a pleasure to conversate with you and chop it up, man. D-Falls Podcast. We out to the next episode. Peace.